What's up? You're watching Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Oh yeah, I want to make sure you guys see this. Wow, graphics that move. We're all better for it. Support the show at patreon.com/Graham Elwood. One of the things you get to do at the $5 level is you get to submit a topic or an article for me to talk about. This was submitted by Phil Przinski. Phil, thank you so much for supporting the show. Folks, for as little as $1 a month, you can help support this show. Patreon supporters have helped fund the new studio that came about last summer, and a lot of nice things. So, I've covered this story before about there's this group of billionaires that make as much money as the bottom half, but it keeps getting worse. They just came up with a new study, and now 26 billionaires own as much as the world's 3.8 billion poorest people. It's ridiculous. It keeps getting worse. This was in Common Dreams, but it was also reported in The Guardian. While the wealth of billionaires increased by $900 billion last year, it keeps going up. The wealth inequities keep getting bigger. It's unreal. $2.5 billion a day. Billionaires' money increased $2.5 billion a day last year. And yet 3.8 billion people are living in abject poverty. This bonanza has not been felt by the poorest half of the world, which saw its wealth decline by 11%. But George Stephanopoulos during the midterm elections told me that the economy's great. He wouldn't lie. ABC wouldn't lie to me. It's not like ABC is owned by these billionaire jackasses. With Wall Street titans, tech moguls, and other members of the global financial and political elite set to gather in Davos, Switzerland this week for the annual World Economic Forum. It's a rich asshole party. A report published late Sunday found the planet's richest people saw their fortunes soar by $2.5 billion a day, while the world's poorest lost their wealth. According to Oxfam, the number of billionaires has doubled since the global financial crisis of 2008. Has your wealth doubled? Mine hasn't since 2008. Yeah, I lost my house in 2010, so it's not like now I have two houses. I'm not living on the street, but my wealth has not doubled. There's no way on this face of the earth my wealth has doubled. Has yours? In the comment section, let me know how much your wealth has doubled. Any new billionaires watching this show? Even as average families have struggled mightily to recover after the 2008 crisis, in contrast to the soaring fortunes of the global financial elite, the wealth of the world's poorest fell by $500 million each day, an overall decline of 11%. So while the ruling class was getting $2.5 billion a day, the poorest half was losing $500 million a day. This is global. This is the whole planet. And they wonder why the yellow vest is happening. There's another article I just saw, and I'll try to cover this as a separate story, but how Macron and Merkel of Germany want to unify and have European military, like a European police force, basically. Because they're feeling the unrest all over the world. 3.8 billion people. I'm pretty sure 3.8 billion is more than 26. So in this Oxfam report, which Oxfam is a not-for-profit, They single out UN President Donald Trump and the Republican Party's $1.5 trillion tax cuts. Has any Americans watching this show, has your jobs and things improved because of the tax cut? Mine haven't. I'm just getting ready to do my 2018 taxes. It's not like my accountant's going, oh, Graham, you're going to get this huge refund now because thanks to Trump. I'm not a billionaire. The Trump tax cuts for the rich are a kind of upward redistribution that has worsened inequality at the expense of the world's poor and working class. And that only transformative political and economic changes across the globe will be sufficient to close the gap between the rich and everyone else. They're so brazen in their greed, they just don't care. I think they all think they're going to like build a spaceship to Mars and get out of here when the planet implodes. Because look at this. This is, in the Guardian article, the world's 26 richest people own as much as the poorest 50%. Charity calls for 1% wealth tax, saying it would raise enough to educate every child not in school. The world's 2,200 billionaires grew 12% wealthier in 2018. Meanwhile, the bottom half of the world got 11% poor. Don't be pinkered into everything's getting better complacency. The few are monopolizing. Absolutely true. They keep telling us everything's better, right? I thought everything's better. No? Citing U.S. nation figures, Oxfam points out that crucial public services throughout the world, including in wealthier nations like the U.S. and the U.K., are suffering from crippling austerity as the global financial elite and massive corporations hoard economic gains, thanks in large part to regressive government policies that allow them to pay minimal taxes and enrich executives with massive pay packages. Your time is numbered. It's almost up, billionaire class. It's almost up. According to Oxfam, if the richest 1% paid an additional 0.5% tax on their wealth, an estimated $418 billion would be raised a year. This alone would ensure an education for the 262 million children currently not in school and provide health care that could save the lives of more than 3 million people. 0.5% tax? If you're a billionaire, you wouldn't even feel that. That is literally like losing, 50 cents in change underneath the seat of your car. But surely the mainstream media is talking about this. Oh no. CNN.com says stuff like, Trump's right, the economy is doing well and he deserves some credit. That was over the summer in CNN. They've been saying this for the last year. Everything's doing great. The economy's great. The economy's great. The economy's great. No, it's not. It's great for billionaires. It's not great for any of us. I mean, maybe you got a raise in your job. I mean, I did all right last year. I directed that Native American TV show, but it was for public broadcasting. It wasn't some crazy amount of money. It was just decent. It was nice. But I'm not just swimming in cash thanks to these tax breaks. No, because I'm not a billionaire. It's unreal. It's unreal what's happening. Thank you, Phil Brzezinski, for sending me this article. Thank you to all of you who support the show at Patreon. And also, Political Vigilante live next week, January 30th at the Sycamore Tavern. Jimmy Dore is my special guest. Get your tickets at GrahamElwood.com. Headlining in Chicago the end of the month. And then the Progressive Comedy Tour kicks back up in March. We're doing March, April, May, and June, 1 week a month for each of those months. Progressive Comedy Tour. Get your tickets, GrahamElwood.com.